Borderlands 4 is out and it's for PC and console. It is the next sequel in the Borderlands quadrilogy. Well, there are actually 5 of these games right now, because if you're counting pre-sequel, and also, yeah, if you're counting the pre-sequel, yes. It is focusing more on new characters, a new location named Kairos, and new Vault Hunters, and some old characters coming in. As you can see from the trailer, you've got Claptrap, you've got Amara from Borderlands 3, Matt Moxie from the series itself, and also Zane from Borderlands 3. And you've got a story where basically you are a Vault Hunter who got captured by the Timekeeper who controls the land of Kairos, and you've got to basically free the people by joining this rebellion. And yeah, I kind of thought this game was about Vault Hunters looking for the monster and the treasure. I guess it became its own thing, like they just ditched the story halfway through. I'm not really... I guess the story is fine. I mean, if you saw the trash fire that was Borderlands 3's base story, then yes, it is a huge improvement. However, if you count Borderlands 3 as a whole, with the DLC, with the dinosaur cowboy storyline, you've got the Krieg storyline, you've got like the Jacobs, and you've got the other DLC stuff, a handsome jackpot as well, that's its own one of the best, then it kind of falters a bit for now. Borderlands 4's base story is alright. It's not the most exciting, it's not the most eye-opening, I mean, it's not the most emotionally charged, but it is the most satisfactory one, where people who were burnt by Borderlands 3's storyline kind of wanted developers course-corrected that and made it into a more serious storyline. I mean, I do miss some of the stupid jokes they put in. I mean, there are some jokes in the main storyline itself that are put in, especially when you get closer to the last part, when you have certain characters coming in, familiar faces coming in, but at the same time, I mean, it is an improvement, yes, but in Borderlands 3, if I could make an argument, the storyline at least drew a bit of a emotion, mostly anger, but it's still an emotion from most players. For Borderlands 4 storyline, it's just coasting along. It's just playing it safe, a little too safe. Every new characters get introduced in, they're kind of alright, but not really the most exciting and outlandish characters we've met. The existing characters are cool and all, but they're all predetermined and pre-established already in the previous game, personality-wise. And the Vault Hunters themselves, I mean, they're cool and all, but they don't seem super involved with the storyline, except, you know, you get to see them coming in the cutscenes. Yeah, after 3 fucking games, we get to see that, so they're all part of the cutscenes, yes. Way to tick that checkbox, huh? Yeah, so I guess maybe I'm just... Again, I have high standards for these things, especially from a company, Gearbox, being backed by 2K Games, who are obviously knee-deep in a lot of money and promotional stuff and whatnot. So it's a bit sad that the story is just playing it safe. No spoilers, don't worry. This is not a spoiler-heavy review. It is just okay. It's just coasting along the lines of fine. Luckily, the gameplay more than makes up for it, which is why I'm going to talk a bit more about that part, where the shooting just feels really good. It is cool that Borderlands 3 had a really good cast of Vault Hunters to start with. This one in part 4, not only do you get really cool abilities with the new Siren, with the Forged Knight, the Gravatar, and the Exo Suit guy. You got the cool abilities of the miniguns and the proton cannon and the elemental bubble and whatnot. But you can also choose how you want, which of the 3 skills you want to pick. One character has green, red, and blue skills. You get to pick which one you want. I use Amon a lot, so I get to pick between red, which is about your rocket fists, blue, which is the shield that takes damage, and then it shoots back the damage in vengeance form. And then you've got green, which basically he summons the fire and the ice axe, and then uses them as a projectile or combines them and throws it out together to detonate the projectiles that are being laid onto opponents. Each character has all that. Siren herself, she can either summon like spirits, reapers, and specters. She can also, I think it was red, Yeah, she summons a cat named Trouble. She can become a badass giant and basically acts like a pet. And then the green skill makes her super powered for a bit. I guess Wings of Evil or some shit, yeah. But yeah, basically she is the pet class per se. Lots of damage and everything and some buffs here and there. So all these characters, they are really fun to play. I've only played a little bit of Rafa and Harlow, yes. But I played mostly Amon and the Siren. So this is all pretty cool stuff. Yeah, they have a lot you can actually divvy down and you can customize and experiment with. So I really like that aspect of the game, where everybody is customizable to a point with the guns and everything, and the new equipment types as well. You actually now get to heal whenever you want using the T key on my keyboard. Basically, you get to use a syringe, get to heal, and then there's a cooldown for whatnot. Like basically the Diablo potion, basically. And then you've got the ordnance, where instead of buying rockets like last time or buying grenades, all of these big guns, they're under ordnance. So you get to use them for a bit, and then once the ammo for that has been depleted, then it goes into a cooldown. And then after like 20 seconds or so, you get to use it all over again. And there are also skills that complement, making the cooldown get lower and lower, so you don't have to wait so long. So it's really cool that they separated that. And then the movement options, oh man, I don't think you can go back to Borderlands 2 or 3 ever again, because you've got the grappling hook, you get to latch onto things, and you can also take barrels from far away and objects, and then you can throw them. So you got the hook, line, and sinker thing going on. Really, really cool stuff. You get to double jump, and you get to dash in the air. Doesn't sound like much. I mean, other boomer shooters have done this, but to play this in the Borderlands game, it is very energizing and very relieving, to actually get through all that. So I dig all of that, and fighting the enemies and all that, the movement system and the guns. There's a lot of guns, of course. Assault rifles, SMGs, sniper rifles, shotguns. Yeah, good stuff. And the way you get SDUs to actually expand your bullet count and all that is you just have to basically capture. You have to capture sanctuaries. You have to capture safe zones. Go through that. You find a key. You find the data pad. Open it up, or you just kill the enemies in the room, and then you get to capture the fort for yourself. And there are some places where you basically have to find a battery, throw it to the top, because you cannot actually grapple hook and carry things at the same time. You have to throw it, grapple hook onto a ledge, and then throw it up to the top. And then I don't like that particular side quest. It's just very cumbersome, so I just decided to do everything else. But for those who actually like to throw things and grapple onto things and play around with that in a mini game, in a climbing game, go ahead and do that. That's for you. Me, I just rather just do the regular side quests and to just get my XP up, get my character up to level 30 onward, or just do bounties. After you capture a hideout, you get to basically pick any bounty. Just kill 10 dudes and collect the things, or hunt down a particular mark, or collect an item and then bring it back. It's really cool stuff. Yeah. And then you deposit back to your safe house. It's that's something you can take along the way. You have a max of 5, and that's just really things you get to do along the way. And I guess that's the freedom of Borderlands 4, where you get this nice big open world with different various regions, and you get to enemy scale to your level, and then you just basically gotta fight through everything and do whatever you want, or just go to the main quest. It still has that same Borderlands problem, where you need to play this game in co-op to get a bit of a fighting chance, because there are some bosses, again, like in Borderlands 3 and 2, if you die in single player, you restart, boss is back in full health. So that hasn't changed, unfortunately, for a lot of people. And you still need to play this game in co-op, and but at the very least, they still keep the thing, that mechanic where if you're level 30 and a bunch of level 5 players join me, the game will scale the difficulty, so they will fight level 5 enemies, I fight level 30 dudes, so it scales to the player themselves. So I kind of like that. That was from Borderlands 3, so it's good that I actually kept that around. So all in all, I enjoy it. I enjoyed the gameplay a lot. is much better than the previous games. Storyline is still on the fence right there. It's still a huge improvement, but not enough to make me forget about the DLC stories from previous titles. And Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, that's a pretty good story too. So I had to count that in the Borderlands, canon and everything. So Borderlands 4 is a bit too serious for its own good sometimes, but I appreciate what they're trying to do. And it still has that problem as well, where enemies are just HP sponges. They take a while to kill. It just takes a while, and it just gets a bit, how long? I mean, and then you get damage really high and all that. So it's a Diablo problem, but it's a Borderlands problem that has been persistent for God knows how long, since part 2, or even part 1 for that matter, and that hasn't changed. So it's just sad that it has still retains its old ways, to the point where I think there was one time I was playing my Siren and I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna put it to easy so I take less damage, and elemental barriers are slightly lower, so I can just get the game done and over with. So just level them up, because at the end of the day, for action RPGs, it's not, difficulty will be, I will put the game to a higher level difficulty just to get better loot, but to just get my character to max level, I'm just fine putting it to easy so I can get through things much faster without much of a hassle per se, especially when you're leveling up until you get the loot you want, which is all random, by the way. And this game just came out, so we don't know who drops what yet until the farming people, all the Borderlands experts from US have figured out who does what and who drops what. At this point in time, it's still the game that has the problem of an action RPG, where it takes a while to kill things sometimes, especially when you want to put the difficulty high. So just lower it for yourself, save yourself the hassle. Besides, the difficult part only comes out post-game anyway, so all in all, still a fun game. I would give this, I guess it's closer to a 70, but it's definitely an 80 out of 100. Now, will this be the game that saves 2K games from whatever nonsense they're in before they release GTA 6? I mean, I guess Take-Two Interactive releases GTA 6. I don't know. I've seen the reviews on PC. It is still a mixed bag, because the PC version of the game crashes a lot and is not that optimized. I'm playing it on medium to hopefully not have it crash, and I still get a crash or two from certain instances. But it's not as common, especially if you updated your graphics card. But for those who actually bought a high-spec PC and actually want the game running at 4K, I think the max you go is about 30 frames per second. It's insane. It's the fact that the developers and publishers just let this slide is just, it's crazy, especially for a big-ass company like 2K Games who have money to, support all these things and whatnot. It's just crazy. But at the end of the day, you still got a solid product here. And even Civilization 7, that's a solid game that reviewers like. It's just, I guess when it launches and then you kind of want to make a game better than 6 or 5, you don't want them going back to 5 or 6, especially when you release your new Part 7 game. Borderlands 4 kind of did it right by making Part 4's combat really fun. And end game stuff, while still little, at least there are the options, especially with the DLC coming in. So as of now, the end game is kind of lacking, but at least the gameplay, the base of the game is pretty solid. Just maybe not buy the PC version yet. Wait until all the bugs and all that have been fixed. And this is a 239 RM game, so you can see why a lot of people are very mad on Steam and on the reviews, the user meta critic review stuff. It's crazy. So yeah, 2K Games, fix the shit.